Hey, it's Matt Roush.
And Mike Brennan. Let's start off with Bob Moore.
Okay.
We both know Bob.
Yes,
Bob
we
was
do.
working with one of my business partners, Cato O'Hare, and I, and brought him on about a month and a half ago before all hell broke loose in the pandemic world, where we were talking about financing for CBD companies and cannabis companies and things like that. Well, Bob can essentially, it doesn't have to be CBD or cannabis, right, Bob? You can essentially finance any type of company in certain ways.
Hello, gentlemen. Yes, I'm Bob Moore. I've been doing commercial financing for 40 years. And matter of fact, since I have talked to you last week, we processed over $1 million worth of applications for CBD business owners.
Wow.
So, but in today's market, everybody is needing capital. And if you've got an order for hand sanitizers or face masks or something like that, you've got purchase orders from state governments or county governments or county schools or such. We've been helping businesses get them some money on the purchase orders so they can fill the orders.
All right. So how does this process start? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, factoring has been around for centuries, actually. Accounts receivable financing. And it's like, okay, another part of that is contracting financing, or in this case, purchase order financing, which could be a one-time deal, could be multiple times. But where businesses get orders, they don't have enough money to fill them. A lot of times they're making a widget type deal. In this case, they're filling an order. They're filling a face mask or hand sanitizers. That seems to be the two things that are in the news anyway. But there's lots of things that's going on other than COVID-19.
So well, I mean, that's certainly dominating the headlines and dominating everything that we're covering right now. And so, as you know, we're working with different folks right now that are developing personal protective equipment. What you mentioned is face masks, shields, sanitizers, gosh, a whole bunch of stuff. And I know we've been sending a lot of folks your way. You probably, has that been the dominant part of what people are reaching out to you for, or are they other things as well?
That's the dominant thing that we're getting emails and phone calls about. Actually, we're still getting a lot of things, just truckers, just regular businesses that's up and going. People that are selling furniture, to restaurants. Believe it or not, there's still restaurants that are opening. They're changing up their formula and going to like a 4-squad deal instead of everybody lined up in a row and with a bunch of booths type thing. So we may see a lot of restaurants where people are back to each other type deal.
Interesting.
Yeah, what I'm hearing in other countries, for instance, where they have begun to open, is that and this is probably not good news for restaurants, is they take out about half the tables so you can still do the social distancing. And I know, having worked on the restaurant business, that you got to have at least 50% occupancy or you're just to break even. So it's going to be a very challenging time for restaurants going forward.
Yes, but I think what's going to happen is all these restaurants are the ones that are set up beforehand, where they were doing 10%, maybe 5% carry out business. Now they're doing 100% carry out business. They think that those restaurants think they're going to continue doing a huge amount of takeout business, and they probably will. I think a lot of people are cabin fever right now. So I think President Trump's saying the economy is going to boom. It probably will, because people are tired of staying in.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah. So you also do a purchase order, you do invoicing, factoring, that sort of thing. So I mean, lots of different ways that people can work with you, right?
Yes, we do equipment financing. So you have invoice factoring, and you got purchase order financing, and equipment financing, and then we do very large commercial loans. from $1 million up.
Okay, and you even work with land purchases, if I recall, right?
Yes. Matter of fact, we've got several of pending deals where the CBD business owners is trying to buy more land.
Hmm.
And
So tell me a little bit about the work you do with truckers. I think they're among the sort of unsung or less than loudly sung heroes of this whole situation we find ourselves in right now.
yeah, it's kind of interesting because they've relaxed all these rules on these truckers that were they're probably not. This is one time where they could probably go 100 miles an hour and never get stopped on
Yeah.
on stuff. They've been told to leave them alone and don't check the logbook and stuff like that. But on a trucking program, it's pretty neat because truckers are notorious for not keeping good books on the deal. But if you get an invoice for, let's say for $10,000, we'll advance you 95% of it. Normally, for the advance percentage is about 80%. On truckers, it's 95%. And then they also have a card where the truckers can fill up fuel on the fuel card, and it will take care of that. It will offset the fuel card amount, and the truckers just keep running. So it's kind of a neat deal if you're a trucker, because you don't want to stop to do books. You just want to keep rolling and making some money.
Well, and the highways are pretty wide open right now. I mean, I don't get out much except to buy groceries, but when I do, there's hardly any cars on the road. So
I was going to say at the moment there's very little cars. Matter of fact, on the ag side of it, it's kind of the fuel sales are dropped off so much, the ethanol, and the ethanol plants make a CO2 product that the meat companies use. They use the CO2 product that the ethanol plants make. So we may have a CO2 shortage.
interesting. Okay. And in terms of, say, getting back to the personal protective equipment, now, if someone wants to book an order, a lot of this is still coming from overseas, and overseas wants at least 50% down, sometimes more than that. How are you dealing with that situation?
Basically, it's our process hasn't changed, and the rules on clearing hasn't changed. A lot of them want 50% down. You got to do a clearinghouse type deal, bill of lading, and they'll have a confirmation number, and you got to show that you've got ability to pay, which that's what we provide for the companies, the ability for them to pay for the goods, and then they have to provide the bill of lading that it's in the process of being shipped here, and so from there it goes to a clearinghouse, and there's a number of different ways to clear the merchandise to verify it and that it's here.
So in terms of business, you're probably busier than ever then, right?
We are as busy as ever. We really are. It's kind of you don't wish anything bad, but we're busy as all get out. And so are lots of banks are busy. Matter of fact, you can't get a loan right now because all the banks are doing the PPP program.
Right.
And so they've got people called in that they haven't seen in that they've got tellers doing PPP programs and paperwork and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is strange times, that's for sure.
Yes.
So how did you get into this business anyway? Did you start out as a banker or a bank officer, or how?
Yes,
how
I
did you
started
start?
out. I'm third generation banker. My dad, my grandfather, my father were both bankers. Insurance agent, real estate agent. By the time I was 18, so I had those licenses. Had my stockbroker license at 25. So and just kept working in bank. And so I had good opportunities to work around people ask me, how do you get so smart? And it's like, I was around a bunch of smart guys. I don't know if I'm what be smart, but I was around a lot of smart old bankers. And that was really the key to it. I was around the Kemper family in Kansas City, and spent a lot of time in the banking in Commerce Bank and United Missouri Bank, both there in Kansas City. So I ended up around a lot of smart people.
Okay, we've only got about a minute left, Bob. So why don't you tell folks how they can reach out to you to see if they can work with you to help them get financing?
Bob Moore Financing, and I'm also at invoicestocash.com. So either webpage will get me. 580-695-0331, bobmoorefinancing.com.
Additional four-year students love Lawrence Technological University's thriving campus life, but LTU has always met non-traditional students' needs too. Lawrence Tech offers over 100 degree and certificate programs that can get adult students started or back on track. And most of our classes are conveniently offered evenings at our beautiful Southfield campus or online, so you can balance your social, family, and work life even while you power up your career. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.